Grade 11 IT Theory Module 1.3a Computer Management and Data Security. Computers are all about storing data, and when data is lost, then it's terrible. Imagine that the work that you or the company has lost is gone. What are you going to do? And especially if it's a company, all their customers are relying on it. If they're a bank, they've lost all of the information about how much money their clients have. It would really be disastrous. The time and the effort that it takes to re-enter it, if you're halfway through designing your PAT project, for example, and you have to restart, that is just terrible. A company will lose its clients' trust. There may be theft of confidential information that happens as well. That is another way data can get lost, and that is also terrible. A hacker can get access to it. These are all things that can happen to cause data to go away, and we're going to look at the consequences and how these things happen, and also what you can do about it. So we need to protect data against loss, but we also need to protect how accurate data is. If you put bad quality data into a system, no matter how good the system is, it's not going to help to improve the quality. There are 5 categories of threats to data, 5 ways that data can be threatened. First of all, unauthorized access to data. Then there are malware threats. There's the human factor or human issues, natural disasters, and hardware and software issues, and we're going to look at all of these in more detail. First of all, unauthorized access to data. It could be unauthorized physical access, so meaning that your computer gets stolen, or you've left it switched on and somebody walks into the room when you're not there and they steal data, or they could access your data through a network or even through the internet. These days there are hackers and crackers that try and get hold of other people's data and then cause harm to them. What does the law say, and why do people hack? There are different reasons. First of all, the white hat hacker. He's not a bad guy. He will break computer security, which is against the law, but his aim is just to test it. Or he could be working for a security company, and the company makes security software, and he's trying to help them see where the flaws are and where they need to improve their software. The black hat hacker is at the other end of the scale. He violates computer security, but he is malicious. He wants to harm the company or harm somebody else. He might be have a hidden agenda, be vindictive, or he might be trying to make money. In between these two, there's the gray hat hacker. He's a combination of the black hat and white hat hacker. He may surf the internet and then hack into a computer system for the purpose of just notifying the administrator of that system that it's got a security defect, and then he blackmails them, or he asks them, he says he will repair it, but if they pay him a fee. So he's not totally evil, but he's still he's not totally a good guy either. He does have secret agendas. The second category of threats to data is a malware threat. Malware stands for malicious software. This is software which is specifically designed to disrupt or damage a computer system. Viruses, they are like a flu virus, for example. A flu virus will spread from one person to another. The same way a computer virus will spread from one computer to another, or we can call it a host. A host is the computer which has the virus on it. A virus, it inserts or attaches itself to a file or executable program, and then it somehow infiltrates its way into your computer, and it waits. It won't do anything until you execute the program, or the program gets executed for whatever reason. That is the trigger for that virus to then install itself and cause whatever harm it's going to cause to your computer. A virus also loves spreading from one computer to another, either through a network or even through an email attachment that gets sent from one computer to another. The next type of malware is a worm. A worm does not need anyone to click on it or to execute it. It does its own thing, and it does its harm by copying itself. It replicates itself all over a network, or all over a computer's hard drive, or all over its memory, and it spreads all by itself. It's like a worm that's reproducing. It might email itself to everybody in your address book, or it might go and use up all of your memory, and suddenly your computer slows down and can't get anything done because the memory's been choked. It's been used up by a worm. Or it might even also use up all your bandwidth on your internet so that you cannot access the internet. It exploits the weaknesses in an application or in an operating system. Spyware, this, as the name implies, it spies on you and what you're doing on your computer. As you work on your computer, the spyware is collecting information. It could be about how you surf the internet, or your browsing history, or it could be collecting personal information, such as credit card numbers when you're doing your online shopping. It might even get PIN codes and passwords from you. This is more tricky, but it could be recording your keystrokes. So every time you hit a key on the keyboard, it's recording that and how you move your mouse. And once it's collected that information, it sends it back to a third party, the person who wrote the spyware probably, and they collect it all, and then they can access your accounts or do some other kind of harm to it. Now, how you would recognize it is that there's some new little icons that might appear on your taskbar and you don't know what they're for. They're unrecognizable. Or when you search something on the internet and you expect to go to one search engine, then it takes you to another search engine and you didn't ask for that. That could be a sign of spyware. This is an anti-spyware numeric keypad that some banks use. So every time you re-enter your PIN code, it jumbles up the numbers so that the spyware cannot detect what your PIN code is. The next type of malware is a Trojan. This is a program disguised as a useful program, like a game or a utility. The Trojan horse, which was used to get into the city of Troy, which was under siege, was like this. It looked useful, but when the city of Troy opened its gates, then the foreign army came in and did their harm. So when you click on a program that is a Trojan, that's when it does whatever the harmful thing that it's designed to do gets hold of your computer. It can control your computer remotely as a bot, or it can create a backdoor which allows unauthorized access to your data. A rootkit is the last type of malware we'll look at. It is actually a whole collection of programs which are like a virus or another type of malware, and they come along and infiltrate your computer. Their aim is to gain administrator rights. From there on, they remotely control your computer, and they hide themselves away very cleverly and are very difficult to remove. The next threat is human issues, strangely enough. We humans sometimes do silly things, and there's a thing called the human factor. It's called many aircraft navigation disasters, and the same with computers. We sometimes accidentally delete files or reformat disks when we shouldn't have. We often don't bother to back up, and we often just enter incorrect data, We lose our portable storage devices, and we don't use strong enough passwords. These are all things that are just people being careless and thinking that it won't happen to them. Under human issues also the topic of social engineering comes up. So this is when computer users are tricked into installing malware or giving out sensitive or personal information. The first type of social engineering is phishing with a PH. Over here, you would get an email or an SMS, and it says, please log in to verify whatever they want to verify, and you have to click on a link. You click on the link, and then they ask for your personal information. You give it out, and then you realize that this was not actually your bank's website. They took you to another website which looked like your bank, and you've given them all your personal information, and they can then commit identity theft. Spoofing is another type of social engineering. Over here, it's a technique that makes it look like a message comes from a different source, and you then go to a bad website again and get tricked into giving out your information. Under human issues and social networking, you have to think about why social networking sites are prone to attacks. Well, there are millions of users, so it's easy to trick some of them into doing things that they shouldn't. And often just because people see the written word on a page, on a website, they think that it's good. They think that it can be trusted, and that is how they get conned. And also people's personal details are displayed for the world to see. The next threat is natural disasters. These are a reality, and they don't happen often, but when they do, the results are catastrophic. So backing up and storing the backups in a different location are crucial. Things like hardware issues is another topic, and things like storage devices, hard drives and flash drives do break down. In South Africa, we know all about theft. Cell phones get stolen, computers get stolen, laptops get stolen, and that's a very bad way that you can lose all your data. There are also power problems. Eskom is not always reliable, and this can cause the data in your RAM to be lost. That's the smallest problem that it causes. But you can also get data corruption while you're writing to storage and the power goes down, and you can cause corruption to your data. Damage to hardware can also occur because there are spikes in the electricity supply. Software issues are caused by software bugs. So even the best of software can have bugs in it. And then software also crashes and freezes. The principle of GIGO applies. GIGO stands for garbage in, garbage out. So no matter how good a system is, if you put nonsensical data input into it, you are going to get nonsensical output out.